A 16-year-old is now in custody facing murder charges, according to Galveston police, who say she allegedly shot and killed her mother, 34-year-old Tiamoya Moore.
On September 11th, 2025, at 7:49 p.m., multiple 911 calls flooded the Galveston Police Department. The callers all reported the same terrifying thing: gunshots. Lots of them, 5 to be exact. And then came the screaming. When officers arrived at the 5100 block of Avenue Q near 52nd Street, they found something that would shake this quiet Texas neighborhood to its core. On the front porch lay 34-year-old Tiamoya Moore, bleeding from multiple gunshot wounds. But here's what makes this case so haunting. The person who allegedly pulled that trigger? Her own 16-year-old daughter. Before we dive deep into this heartbreaking story, if you're new to Mystoracrimes, do me a favor real quick. Hit that like button. Drop a comment telling me what you think about this case. Share this video so more people can know Tiamoya's story, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click that bell icon so you never miss when we cover cases like this. Now let's get into it. Let me tell you about Tiamoya. This wasn't just another name in a police report. This was a real woman with dreams, struggles, and people who loved her deeply. Born on July 17th, 1991, Tiamoya Descondra Yolis Moore, sometimes she went by Desandra, was originally from Lamarck, Texas. Life had taken her all the way to California when she was young, but eventually she came back home, back to her roots, back to Texas. And you know what? She was really trying to turn things around. I mean, really trying. Tiamoya was working as a manager at Jack in the Box, not just clocking in and out, but actually managing, taking responsibility, showing up every single day. But she didn't stop there. She was pursuing her GED online through College of the Mainland because she understood that education was her ticket to something better. And get this, she had just received her TWIC card. That's a Transportation Worker Identification Credential. Do you know what that means? It means she was on the road to getting employed at chemical plants, which in Texas, that's serious money. That's stability. That's a future. Tiamoya wasn't doing this just for herself. She had 5 children. 5. Their names were Rania Johnson, Kiani Andrews, Milia Justice, Khalil Justice, and Milani Justice. 5 kids who needed their mom. 5 kids who she was fighting for every single day. Her friend Alicia Giesinger, who had known Tiamoya since they were literally in diapers, told reporters something powerful. She said Tiamoya was the kind of person who would give you the shirt off her back. You know that phrase gets thrown around a lot. But Alicia meant it. They weren't just friends. They were like sisters. Family. So picture this.
Literally off of her back. Tia loved her kids, would do anything for her kids. She was very spiritual, very into God, changed her life around for God. I just want to know what really, what caused for that to get to this point to where you had to take your own mama's life.
It's a Wednesday evening in Galveston. The neighborhood on Avenue Q is what locals describe as quiet and calm. Neighbor Iso Marines would later tell police there were normally no problems at Tiamoya's home. This was a peaceful street. Families lived here. Kids played outside. It was the kind of place where people knew each other, where you'd wave to your neighbors when you got home from work. But on this particular evening, something went terribly, horribly wrong inside Tiamoya's home. Her mother, Tiamoya's own mom, was there in the house. Can you imagine being in your daughter's home, probably helping out with the grandkids or just spending time together, and then you hear it? Gunshots inside your daughter's house. Another neighbor, Grassel Molina, heard it too from outside. She told reporters she heard Tiamoya screaming. Then 5 gunshots rang out into that quiet evening air. 5. First responders rushed Tiamoya to UTMB Health's John Seeley Hospital. The doctors tried everything. They fought to save her life. But the wounds were too severe. Tiamoya Moore, the mother of 5 who was just starting to see her hard work pay off, who had dreams of working at those chemical plants, who her friends described as generous and loving, was pronounced dead. Just like that, her story was over. Or so everyone thought. Because what happened next is where this case takes a turn that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. When police were processing the crime scene, collecting evidence, talking to witnesses, trying to piece together what happened, the 16-year-old daughter, who had initially fled on foot after the shooting, made a decision. She came back. She walked right back to the scene while officers were still there and was taken into custody without any incident, just surrendered. Police found a firearm near the home that they confiscated as evidence. The teenage girl was transported to the Jerry J. Esmond Juvenile Justice Center in Texas City, where she was charged with murder. Her own mother's murder. Now here's where this gets even more complicated, even more painful to think about. Nobody knows why. Not the grandmother who was in the house and heard those shots. Not the 4 siblings who lost their big sister and their mother in one devastating moment. Not Alicia, the childhood friend who knew Tiamoya better than almost anyone. Not the neighbors who said everything seemed fine. The motive is a complete mystery. Galveston Police Chief Doug Bally confirmed the arrest.
Suspect, it was reported at the time by witnesses that the suspect had fled the scene. While the location in the 5100 block of Avenue Q was an ongoing crime scene, at some point while investigators were there and performing their investigative duties, the suspect came back up on location and she was taken into custody at that time.
But as of now, no one has publicly explained what could possibly drive a 16-year-old to shoot her own mother 5 times. Tiamoya's mother, who witnessed this nightmare, told reporters her daughter was a loving mother. She expressed complete shock that her granddaughter has been charged with this crime. Think about that for a second. This grandmother lost her daughter, and in the same moment, her granddaughter was arrested for causing that loss. How do you even process that? How do you grieve when the person accused is also someone you love?
Fuck your life! Bing bong! If you see these dogs in your front yard, just know upstairs I'm going hard. Bing bong! What do you want to tell Joe Biden right now?
What's up, baby? Take me out to dinner.
Hey, yo! Ariana Grande, what's up, mama? I'll come to Coney Island to...
Alicia Giesinger said something in her interview that stuck with me. When talking about the daughter, she acknowledged that mental health is real. She said, if a child is troubled, then a child is troubled. You can only help them so much. That statement right there opens up so many questions. Was this teenager struggling with something that nobody fully understood? Were there signs that got missed? Was there a cry for help that went unheard? Because here's the thing we need to talk about. This wasn't a stranger. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This wasn't some random act of violence. This was a daughter and a mother. The same person who carried that child for 9 months, who stayed up with her when she was sick, who probably sacrificed more than we'll ever know to raise 5 kids, was allegedly killed by one of them. What breaks inside a family for something like this to happen? And let's think about those other 4 children for a moment. Rania, Kiani, Milia, Khalil, and Milani. These kids didn't just lose their mother that September night. They lost their sister too, in a different way. She's alive, but she's in juvenile detention, charged with a crime that carries unimaginable weight. These siblings are now growing up without their mom, and they have to live with the knowledge of how she died and who allegedly took her from them. How do you explain that to a child? How do family gatherings work now? How do you move forward? The community rallied around the family. A GoFundMe was set up by Alicia to help with funeral expenses because grief is expensive. Death is expensive. And this family was already dealing with unimaginable emotional costs. They shouldn't have had to worry about financial ones, too. Tiamoya is survived by her grandparents Geraldine Malone and James Thompson Jr., her parents Yolanda Thompson and Clarence Moore Jr., and several siblings. All of these people are left picking up pieces of a puzzle that doesn't make sense. What haunts me most about this case is the timing. Tiamoya was on an upward trajectory. She was building something. The TWIC card, the GED, the manager position, these weren't just accomplishments. They were proof that no matter where you've been, you can work towards something better. She was proof that you can come back home, face your challenges, raise your kids, and still chase your dreams. She was doing it. And then in one evening, in 5 gunshots, it all ended. The investigation is still ongoing. As of the latest reports from mid-September 2025, There haven't been updates about court hearings or whether the case will be moved to adult court, which can happen in Texas for serious crimes, even when the defendant is a minor. The 16-year-old's name hasn't been released because of her age. She remains at the Jerry J. Esmond Juvenile Justice Center, waiting for the legal system to decide her fate. And somewhere in all of this, a family is trying to figure out how to heal from a wound that might never fully close. So let me ask you this. What breaks the bond between a mother and child so severely that it ends in violence? Was this a mental health crisis that spiraled out of control? Was there abuse we don't know about? Was this teenager dealing with trauma, depression, or something else that made her snap? Or was there something happening in that home that nobody on the outside could see? And here's the harder question. Could this have been prevented? Were there warning signs that got ignored? Could intervention, therapy, or support have changed the outcome of that September night? If this case teaches us anything, it's that we need to pay attention to the people we love, to the signs of struggle, to the kids who might be silently suffering. Because behind every headline, there's a real person. Tiamoya was real. Her 5 children are real. That 16-year-old sitting in juvenile detention is real, and the pain radiating through this family is devastatingly real. If you found this story as heartbreaking as I did, I need you to do something. Hit that like button to help this video reach more people. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think. Do you believe mental health played a role here? Should we be talking more about family dynamics and teen mental health? Share this video so Tiamoya's story isn't forgotten. Subscribe to Mystoracrimes because we're going to keep following this case and bring you updates as they come. And click that bell icon so you're notified the moment we post. This family deserves to have their story told with the respect and attention it deserves. Let's make sure Tiamoya Moore is remembered not just as a victim, but as a mother who is fighting for a better life. I'll see you in the next one.